Anything else we're missing about? Yeah, no, we've really covered a lot here.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
I think the rest is going to be up for the community to get her in their hands, Oryx as well, and that's going to be on February 17th. You guys can play these operators. Now, we're not done, folks. In addition to 2 brand new operators, you've gone back and taken some tweaks on some old operators. There was one that was giving attackers a lot of trouble. Tell me about the changes that you've made to Legion.
We've made 2 changes to Legion. The first change is removing his ability to gather information from across the map. So you will need line of sight to see those icons across the map. The second part of the tweak is removing the initial damage. So if you're doing 1v1 against Legion, well, you won't get stopped by stepping on a goo mine and, well, fluking your clutch.
You've made the people very happy, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Now, as I understand it, you've also made a couple changes, little tweaks to Twitch as well.
Yes, Twitch has always been about the F2, so we wanted to bring more utility to the Twitch drone. We are making the ammo system similar to what we have on the Yokai drone. So you will start with 3 shots, and they will regenerate over time. We want to make sure that you use the drone, do some activities, zap some gadgets, go back to your Twitch view, profit over those actions, and use the newly generated shots from your Twitch drone.
They sound like some really thoughtful balance changes that you guys have made to existing operators. And in addition to some balance changes, you guys have done some quality of life updates as well. This one got a lot of applause in the video. I know you guys are excited for debris replication. Tell me a little bit about what the issue was and how you guys are going to fix it.
So yeah, for the longest of time, we've tried to be super realistic about planks getting destroyed, so we would remove 1 plank at a time. Sometimes they would get stuck and lead to unfair firefights. So what we are doing is removing 90% of the plank. It's going out in debris and particles that won't stay there. But we are also leaving 1 small part of the wood to leave feedback on the other side that barricade was destroyed.
Fantastic, glad to hear it. Now, we're also seeing a change to drone spawns. Tell me about how this is going to affect players.
Yes, so when you are in your planning phase and you're selecting your spawn point, well, the drone will start exactly where you selected.
Oh, right in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to spawn there, drone will spawn there.
Whatever I want, you guys are the best. I saw you made a little aesthetic change as well to the player hub. Tell me about the update.
So we changed the play section to be more rainbow. As you can see, it's more Rainbow Six.
Absolutely.
But we are also bringing more information to the players. If you want to know all the details about the playlist, well, everything is going to be exposed. If you want to know if it's 5-second diffuse, 5-second planting the diffuser, everything is going to be showed up there.
Beautiful. You have set the table and we are ready to feast, but we have 1 more piece de resistance. And Nicholas, I'm going to tee you up here and let you share it with the people.
Yeah, I love this part. So I'm happy to announce that this season, our sneakiest operator, Kavera, will be getting her own elite skin.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Matthew, for coming out here, for breaking this all down for us. Operation Void Edge is going to be available on the test servers on February 17th. Now, tomorrow, we are going to be showcasing all to come from the content and esports team with our Year 5 panel. But don't go anywhere yet. Our next match here at SI is about to begin between Space Station Gaming and TSM. But before we get there, folks, we have community commendations, and they're going to be for Meru Kitsune, our wonderful content creator, and for Karen, one of our community moderators. So let's check it out.
All right then. Well, we can take that time that they're now doing their commendations to have a bit of a chat. There's a lot to unpack there. Let's maybe get this into the background. There we go. We can let this run on loop there. So, funnily enough, yeah, a lot of people in the chat asking about Tachanka. No news about Tachanka at all. Nothing. So, yep. if there is work being done on him, it's definitely not coming in Season 1. We might see him in future, we might not. 2 new operators, though. A lot of people seemed really concerned. Like, when I was reading the chat, I don't know. I mean, these operators, certainly when we talk about Oryx, the Jordanian guy who can basically run through walls, my initial thought was, when hearing about him, is that he's not going to be that great, because they say he's going to make a lot of noise, and, I mean, that sort of charge, I think it's basically a glorified melee attack, because you can only really do that when you sneak up on someone. I don't see the possibility of sprinting down a hallway and managing to catch someone. If you're coming at someone from the front, you're going to get shot every time. And he's a 2 armor, 2 speed, so without the sprint, he's going to be going at a relatively normal speed. So I think this sort of charge, if you're going to use it, you're going to use it instead of a melee attack. So if someone's not expecting you, or if you can get up on them from behind, being able to run through a wall. Yeah, I mean, it sounds useful enough, but at the same time, any operator who has impact grenades can do the same, right? You can throw the impact and you're straight through. And in fact, with the impact grenade, when you come through, your gun is ready. You're ready to go. Oryx, it basically looks like, first of all, you're going to be stunned ever so slightly, like we saw in the video. When he runs through a wall, he gets a little bit of double vision, so he's kind of disoriented a little bit. He has to bring out his gun first. He's not quite ready to fight immediately. So, again, it's good for roaming. If you're trying to get somewhere and you need to get through a wall, you can do that. But I think, again, that's best used when you're not near enemies, right? If there's an enemy on the other side, more than likely you're just gonna get shot. So, when I heard those things at first, I thought, like, fun, but maybe not that useful. But maybe the climbing the hatches part, which is something I hadn't heard about before. I think that wasn't in any of the leaks that we've seen. That could be interesting, because he's a bit like Nomad, except actually good, because Nomad's hatch climbing ability is really, really... Can it be useful in some limited situations? Maybe, kind of, but most of the time I'm going to say no. It's so slow, it makes noise, you're totally vulnerable, you have no chance, you just get shot and you're done. But the Oryx, he looks a bit better. You can climb up and you can either peek, or you can climb up fully. It looked as if it might be certainly a lot quieter than Amaru. How much quieter, we don't know. But yeah, I mean, if someone's watching the hatch, you're probably still going to be vulnerable, but it looks like a version of Amaru, but just much, much more useful. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. I think... What? Did I say Nomad? Thank you for the correction. Yeah, of course I meant Amaru. Did I say Nomad? Yeah, no. Yes, I saw it. Thank you. I always confuse the names of operators. I even did that in a video recently where I called Montagna Rook, which was, yeah, silly. Okay, thank you very much. So, of course, I meant Amaru, not Nomad. Nomad is someone different. So basically, just a good version of Amaru, maybe? We will see. How good? We will see. But yeah, the one thing that really excites me about him is the shield counter. Like, shields... A lot of people have been frustrated with shields for a long time, and I know from speaking to the devs, they've been frustrated with shields, and they've been trying to figure shields out for a long, long time now. Like, not just a few seasons, years. Literally years. What can we do with shields? Make them okay and fun to play, but also to make them less frustrating. And so far, kind of like everything we've seen is just nerf the shields, take away their ADSing ability. They're really, really slow now, make them move slowly, make them make a lot of noise. And the shields are in a place right now where they're mostly not really that frustrating anymore. They're not really that dangerous anymore. And now they're getting a hard counter. Like Monty, the one thing that Monty had going for him was that with his shield down, he was just 100% invincible, and that in certain situations could make all the difference. Now you've got a guy who can counter that. You can just sprint right into them, bash them over, and then take them out. And as a shield, I think you're particularly vulnerable to that, because like it's going to take time for you to ADS, it's slow, you can't really make, if you're lucky with a hipfire, maybe, but otherwise, yeah, you're just going to get run over and taken out. So I think that is possibly going to be one of his greatest strengths, being able to counter shields. He's not getting an ACOG, which is, yep, makes sense for a 2-speed. And there we go. Countered by Gridlock and Nomad, yes. Countered also by Lion, maybe also partially countered by Jackal. All makes sense. What is the training grounds game mode? It's a really good question. So I was going to get to that later, but we can address it now. I'm pretty much finished talking about Oryx. Those are my thoughts on Oryx anyway. Yes, so this wasn't really announced, and I'm assuming we're going to get to hear about this tomorrow. But you might have noticed as they were showing the HUD, the menu, the new menu of the game, on the side there was a learning area and a training ground. I don't know what that means. It is not announced yet. I have to assume that we're going to hear about that tomorrow. That's the only thing I can assume, because they didn't mention it today, and I honestly don't even know. I do not know. So yeah, we'll probably see tomorrow, or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll see it once it comes out. I don't know. That's all I can say to that. Should we talk a little bit about Yana? Yana, the lady who went to space, who went to the ISS because she always wanted to, and then liked it so much that she decided to invent a hologram that she then must have sent into space. She must have given it to some astronauts to take to the moon, and they landed there, and they tossed out these things, which I'm guessing are solar powered, because obviously they're still working. They don't need to be recharged. And now from Earth to the moon, she can use her connection to these things to become a hologram and run around on the moon. Oh my. Okay, there's that story. I think the more important part, really, though, is that she has that ability on Earth as well, and she's now a Rainbow Six operator. So basically, she has the ability. It's very similar to Alibi, except again much better. Again, advanced, because her drone actually moves. You can basically regenerate an exact copy of yourself, including the skins, which is actually interesting, and you can use that to run around the map. And that's actually a really good question I had earlier there, is what about Alibi? That's a really good point, and they didn't mention that, and that's something I would like to see as well, because if they've now finally figured out a system whereby they can have a hologram that has the same skin, the same hat, the same clothes, the same gun skin as well, then surely they must be able to do that with Alibi as well, because from the very beginning, that was always a question of why would you ever put any special skin on Alibi if your holograms are always going to stay the same? So definitely a very valid question. As to how it works, obviously it takes any damage from anything, a gunshot, electricity, maestro, anything at all, it's going to get destroyed, and it will take longer to recharge. So if you cancel it, you get a quicker recharge versus it being destroyed. It has a lot of hard counters, though, and that's something I noticed. Obviously, you have Mute, who can stop the drones from going through. You have Electricity, so Bandit or Kaid can go through. I've mentioned Maestro already, and Maestro, not only can he destroy them, but he's also, because he has thermal vision, he can tell that it's not the actual character. He can tell that it's a hologram, and the bulletproof cameras have the same function. So with the bulletproof camera, you can as well tell, hey, this thing doesn't give off any heat. So yeah, that's not the real one. And I think the biggest thing, something that I didn't really even think about before they mentioned it, is barricades. A simple barricade can stop this hologram from progressing. So if you're trying to use this to explore the map, you might actually get stuck. in an awful lot of places. So, did they release a roadmap? No. So that's, I'm assuming, coming tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a panel on basically the entirety of Year 5, plus all sorts of other stuff. So we'll see more about that tomorrow. Today was basically just Season 1.